Welcome back to the channel, everyone. As you guys can tell, we are not in Minnesota anymore. So we drove down to Flippin, Arkansas, down to the Vexus Boats manufacturing plant down here. And we got a super exciting fun day ahead of us. We're gonna be doing a factory tour today, as well as picking up our brand new 2025 DVX 22S. And if you guys haven't heard, we're gonna be running trips this year in that brand new boat. So if you guys want to come out on a guided trip this year, you guys can look at my website down below in the description. It has all the information you guys would ever need. And we're gonna be starting our trips here in March for some trophy Green Bay walleyes. So we're gonna go inside here, meet up with George, and get a little tour of this facility. Hey, well, we just got inside and met up with George here, so we're gonna take a little tour of this place. We're first starting off in their cafeteria here, which is a super nice, awesome cafeteria. They got a little bit of everything in here, and as you can tell, just a super open atmosphere. So we're gonna show you around, and we're gonna introduce George here, and then get into the meat and potatoes of how these boats are built. Starting off in the corner here, they have a whole assortment of beverages, food, some coffee for in the morning, and pretty much all the snacks that you guys could ever think about. So this is where they kind of do all their conversing, dinner, breakfast, lunch, pretty much everything you need. They also have their own personal gym up top if you guys need to hit a quick workout. Let me introduce you to George here, and then we'll start the tour.
We're going to take us through a tour here of the facility. We're very proud of it. And look how the boats are built, and then you get to take one home. So it's a pretty good day.
All right, let's get started.
All right. So this is the rigging area. We're gonna walk right through it. It's hard not to stop and gawk, but we'll come back through here. And we'll do a short walk through the aluminum plant, and we'll spend most of the time on the glass for you.
George is gonna take us through the plant here. We just got in the actual manufacturing facility here. As you guys can tell in the background, we are in, and we're going to be heading first to the aluminum portion, but we're just going to walk through here and get back there, and you guys can kind of see the first process of how these boats are built.
So as you can see, we've got a real aluminum boat building facility right here under the same roof as we build our fiberglass. As I said, this was the first part that we built, or finished, I should say, and started building the aluminum boats going to the 2019 Bassmaster Classic. I'll walk you through here real quick. So you see all the parts here that have been cut on our laser cutter, because the boats are built, we call it interlocking, and all the parts fit together even before we weld it. It helps the process tremendously, and with all the fiberglass parts that we put in it, it all works together really well. But there isn't much going on here that hasn't already been cut to fit and ready to build boats. You can see we've got a deep V here, or it could be a center console. I'm not sure at this point, but we build our center consoles, our walk-through windshields, deep Vs, and our AVX bass boats, all in this area. A lot going on here. We'll just keep walking. Okay, we're here, the plasma cutter, which everything gets touched in one way or another with that machine. All the aluminum comes in on rolls. You can see here we're getting ready to load up another roll to get everything ready to go and build parts to build these aluminum boats. Everything you see in here as far as the rails and the equipment hanging from the ceiling was actually built in our mechanical shop. We've got a full-blown fabrication shop that builds a lot of the things that we use here. It's real handy to do that, and we can make changes whenever we need to by doing it that way. We'll keep walking. Talking about the tools that we built ourselves, you can look here at these jigs that are built the exact curve that they need to and dead rise before we install them in the boat. So everything you see here and here has been built by Vexus, and it's just another part that gives us repeatability and making the same part the same way every time. All right, so we're going to keep moving here. You'll see the tanks of water, pretty self-explanatory, but if we didn't have that, there'd be a lot of leaky boats, I guess, maybe, but everything gets splashed here while it's getting built, and then at the finish, we splash it again, make sure all the pumps work, electronics work, and so on. Lots of quality control checkpoints. Okay, now this is a deep V line. It's very, very busy, and you can see here that we're finishing up. This is a 190. Every boat that's in here is built to order. It's truly a custom-built boat. So the order follows this hull through the whole process, and it's extremely important to make sure that the order is correct before we get to here. But we'll take care of that.
As you guys can tell, these guys are very hard at work here. Everyone has their own job that they're doing here, and they are manufacturing these boats very efficiently. And you can see they're taking all the correct steps to make sure these boats, when they are actually get to the customer, they are in a very perfect working order.
See what we've got going here. We're putting the stringer system in the boat before we put the floors on. The stringer system is, it's a skeleton of the boat. And if the skeleton or the foundation isn't exactly right, it'll come loose. Not a good thing. So a lot of time gets spent on building it, but also designing it. There's a lot that goes into building a boat, aluminum or fiberglass. Here we've got our transom in. We're starting to put the rear deck on. Now this is a pretty important part of a boat, believe it or not. And you can see all the tubing and the hoses that we put in underneath the floor, and this is used for rigging. This tube here, the steering cables go through here, and then all the other tubes have a purpose. The boats are completely foam filled, aluminum or fiberglass. So the only way you can run wire through it is by using one of these tubes. It makes it extremely easy to rig your boat. And also a lot of thought went into the engineering of it. This is the center rod locker. You're going to have your bait well and 2 storage boxes. This whole part will go into this boat. So it's already welded to fit. We don't have to worry about it. It'll drop in, and we go ahead and finish putting it in place and continuing down the line. But this is what I was talking about, the interlock system. This is a big, easy way to see it. We build a lot of the boat before it even gets in. Okay, as we move down the assembly line, this is where the fiberglass parts get put in the boat. Okay, so this is a fiberglass box, which which means we can build it whatever size we want. We can round the corners, build the dam here that the weather strip goes on, just like that we do in the glass boats. Having watertight or dry boxes on aluminum is really hard to achieve, but we spend a lot of time and effort to do that. So right here, you've got 2 fiberglass storage boxes and a fiberglass live well. And we'll slide forward. And now you'll see the fiber, that is a cooler in the front there. And this is a live well. This boat is a crappie version. What that means is it's got a front live well with a lid that opens kind of backwards just to backboard the crappie into the live well. So we have many different layouts, from crappie to bass to walleye, center console, saltwater. We really can offer a lot to a dealer that takes the brand. You can see again all the tubes, very important, and does make it a lot easier to build. Okay, the aluminum transom that we put in the boat is also unique. The first layer of aluminum is actually 1/4-inch channel, or tubes, I should say, that are the last part before we hang the engine. But you can see here the 5 knee braces that we also put in. That transfers all the power from the outboard into the bottom of the boat, and then the stringer system, as we talked about the skeleton. So this whole boat is connected, and by building it this way, it's very easy to change the attitude of the boat. I mean, by trimming it, if it's rough water or if it's flat calm, 2 different scenarios. But the transom is a really important part, and also the bottom of the boat. You'll see here, we've got a step and then a pad hull. So a step helps get clean water to the engine. It also acts as a jack plate a little bit, moving the motor back from the bottom of the boat. And then the pad in the center. They're a lot of fun to drive and perform very well. All right, this is a new 1985 model. It's a little bit higher sided bass boat type layout, but it's got jump seats in it and a large cockpit that 4 people can fit in without any issue at all. So probably going to be a great guide boat, or for the family. Everybody will have a seat, and everything else we talked about is built into this boat. They perform very well. You can see here, this is the foaming station. So as I talked about, everything that's out of compartment is filled with foam. You can see it right here. It's injected in a liquid form. All those holes are inspection holes, and that tells us, you see the foam coming out, that tells us that is full. That one's done. So then it goes to the next one and fills it. It's not as easy as just spraying foam in there. There's been a lot of calculations to make sure we don't put too much in. If you put too much in, the stuff is really strong. It's amazing. It can actually change the shape of the boxes sometimes. But we've already done all that work, and it's a huge part of the construction of a Vexus boat. So this one is getting prepped for paint. Every inch of it gets sanded, get any nicks or flaws taken care of before it goes into the paint booth. But what I want to show you here is this one's been foamed. And you'll hear it's very solid. There's no hollow spots in the boat. That helps the feel of the boat. You don't feel the water on the hull. The sound is a sound deadening also. But all of a sudden, you saw me pick up that storage box. You cannot take this box out now. because it's been foamed in. So we're getting to, we actually have a finish weld section here for the places that we want it to look really good. This is one of our center console boats. In talking about the fiberglass, the rod storage and fish box, the storage box is put in as one part, and it's fiberglass. You can see the white part in the back where the live well and the jump seats are put in the boat. I guess this is the foundation of the fiberglass part of the aluminum boat. We're doing more and more of that. And we're actually getting rid of some carpet too. We're in the finish weld area right now, and we're really proud of our welders. It is really an art to be able to put a bead down like that. These boats really don't even look like aluminum boats, you know, as you see them on the water. The fiberglass parts, console, make that, you know, that look, but also the fact that everything is put in place in the right place every time.
We got out of the aluminum production area there. As you can see, there's a lot going on, a lot of different steps in order to be able to provide a perfect boat for the end consumer, which is me and you guys. You guys can tell every employee in there is working extremely hard. They all have their own job, and that's what they do, down to a science. They have these boats built to near perfection, and the quality and craftsmanship of these boats is absolutely phenomenal, and that is one of the big reasons why I chose Vexus. You guys can look around out there, look at every little inch of these boats. There's not much on them, if anything, that you're like, wow, is that acceptable? These things are produced at a very, very high quality control. So we're gonna keep moving on here, and we'll see where we end up next.
Okay, now we come into what we call the clean room, where the boat is built, it's been foamed, it's been sanded, it's been acid bath washed. That's right behind Jacob there. And now the boat is going to, the boat doesn't touch the ground from start to finish. It's still hanging on the I-beam. So the acid wash is happening. We roll it out here, and then the next step is actually painting of the boat. You can see these spray booths. These are automotive type spray booths. So we got these from Detroit. You know, I don't even want to, they're very, very expensive. They also are ovens. So we bake all the finishes of every boat. So we'll paint it with people that have been painting boats for a very long time. And then we'll bake it and get that really Vexus shine that and the depth of the colors that you're used to seeing. So there's a lot to it. Let's go. But in the paint department is really the only place you're going to see masks and everybody in kind of like a hazmat suit, just to keep the automotive paint and the gel coat from breathing it in or getting it on them. It's just annoying if you get it on you, it doesn't do anything. But this is where you'll see people wearing masks. And what I'm saying about that is it's the atmosphere in the building. You'll see people, we're doing this in February, and there's people here in t-shirts and shorts. It's climate controlled. We change the air out. We don't do what we call conventional fiberglass building, which puts a lot of styrene in the atmosphere, and you can smell it. There's almost no fiberglass smell everywhere in this place.
Definitely one of the things I noticed right away walking in here is how clean everything is. It's kind of crazy. When you think about a production, you think of a million things all over the place to get stuff done. But the floors have been extremely clean. They keep everything very well organized here, and it doesn't smell like a big giant factory at all. So they have everything down here to an absolute science, and that will definitely keep their employees much happier. And you can tell everyone definitely is enjoying their job in there, and they absolutely love what they do.
So this is a little, I call it a little bit caveman, but it works. All this that I've got in my hand here has an order number on the back of it. So if this boat all of a sudden has some type of a paint problem, for whatever reason, we can take this sample, send it to the lab, and they'll figure out what went wrong. Did we do something wrong? Or was it the paint itself? But it's a very simple way, but very, very effective to help out when the boat leaves here. If it has an issue, we're going to be able to figure out what the heck it was.
All right, so we got out of all the paint production and the aluminum. We are now going to be in the fiberglass section. And George here is going to give you a little rundown on all the important features of these boats.
There's many things that set a Vexus boat apart from others, but this is without a doubt the biggest part of it, and what Randy Hopper, did design in order to build Vexus boats and get the quality that we have. This right here is a stringer section for a fiberglass boat. You'll see the blue baggie and then these lines with something in them. Well, that's resin. So the way every fiberglass boat is built is in the infusion process. We cut all the fiberglass on a CNC machine, and so the fiberglass has a part or shape that is the same every time. Also, we put the same amount of fiberglass in the part every time. Once the fiberglass is down, we put the baggie on, seal it, and all the white PVC pipes in here is a vacuum. This baggie is loose when we start. We pull a vacuum of 1,400 pounds per square foot, and then introduce the resin. And on the resin, we know exactly how much is going to go in there, which is really important. And this keeps the acetone and the smell from filling this whole facility. It's a unique process. It makes a stronger part and a lighter part at the same time, which is what you want to do in a fiberglass boat. So every part, repeating myself, but every part is built this way. Okay, this is a VXS 21, but they're all built exactly the same. You can see the fiberglass, this is the hull. It's been infused, been through the foaming process for the hull. You can see everything in here that needs to be foamed is these inspection holes here. This part is completely full of foam. And we use it as a construction method. Boat won't sink, but the foam is so important to the way that we build boats. You can see we actually put some on the side of the hull, and that's really just sound deadening. It's really the sound of the boat, or what you're feeling, has a lot to do with sound. What I'm meaning is, if it's a nasty day and you've got to go a couple miles in 40-mile-an-hour winds or cold weather, if you put a motorcycle helmet on, everything gets easier. You're not feeling everything. You're certainly not hearing anything. I use that comparison a lot because getting the sound out of the boat helps everything. Okay, so this is where all the colors come together. The boats, the polyflick boats, actually get painted. We paint the mold, whatever color, whatever stripe, and then back it up with black here before it goes through the process of cutting the glass, putting it in place, and pulling a vacuum. There's a lot of time that goes into building one of these boats, but once again, we've got people who have been doing it for a long time. And so this is another VXS 21, and by the end of the day, it's going to look like that. Spray booth here, where the gel coat is actually sprayed. We do our best job possible of getting the smell out of the building. Right here, you can probably smell it more than anywhere else. We'll walk over here to the small parts. Okay, now we're in the small parts section, and once again, every part that's done here is built in the infusion. You saw the blue baggie on the large hull. Here, we actually can use a silicone bag and reuse it because it's not a 21-foot long and 8-foot wide spot. So silicone bag here to build the small parts, reusable. We will get that figured out so we can reuse that, but it's gonna take some time. So here you see the boxes are being built. Rod lockers, the one that looks like an arrow over there, that's a rod locker. Center boxes, and the strength of this box that is an 1/8 of an inch thick is phenomenal. We'll do a little test here in a minute. But one thing on the glass boats, anywhere that a screw is put in the boat, it's backed up by aluminum. We use different layers of fiberglass to help hold the screw, but behind that is aluminum. And I can show you that. Okay, this is a rod locker lid for one of the bass boats. There's a composite material that we use, and right here is a strip of aluminum. So this thing is going to get built, and you'll never get to see any of this again, but you can see how important that piece of aluminum is. We even put it on the lids. Anything that holds a screw is backed up by aluminum. Here is just a continuation of building the small parts. Here they're putting the glass on the boxes or lids or whatever it is that they're making, and you can see it's all cut to fit. All this glass came from our CNC machine. So we're gonna put a little bit of glue on there to hold the fiberglass, but it'll get a silicone bag put on it, inject it with resin, and the infusion process will take it over. And you can see here the actual infusion process is happening as we watch it. The resin is being introduced into that part. The vacuum will pull it from the top to the bottom. It's kind of the secret sauce right here. So the whole boat, once again, is built that way. And it's important to know, exactly how much goes into that. One thing that I think is really important is when we get the boat done, we weigh them. We weigh. We got to have a way to know if we're doing the right thing. And these boats are within 5 pounds of each other every time. That you just can't do that doing this conventionally. If you're just using a chopper gun and paint brushes to put the resin in the boat, you don't know until you're done that the thing is 200 pounds too heavy, or maybe be light. So the repeatable process and having all the glass boats be within 5 pounds of each other is a really important deal. Resale value is going to really show up.
So like George was saying, the process they have here is absolutely phenomenal. He said even on a few 1,000-pound boat, at the end product, every single boat that's manufactured here is within 5 pounds of each other. That's how exact they are and how efficient they are, using a process that they can repeat over and over again with extreme consistency. So as we're making our way through here, just personally looking at all this stuff is pretty phenomenal. Just knowing that this boat that we're going to be running is going to be one of the best built boats out there. Super consistent, and it's going to be a very safe boat on the water.
Okay, this is a really good representation of the infused process. Right here, we're putting the dry glass in. And this is a similar part. I think it could be the same part. But this one has already been infused. So look, I can rub my hand all over this thing and not worry about getting fiberglass, you know, is getting stuck. But this is exactly how it looks when we pull the bag off. There's not a lot of finish work to be done once it has cured from the infusion process. Very cool. But you can see here, these are the fender molds, and we build everything the same way. But all the fenders on the glass boats, you get to pick your color, and same process, it's repeatable. We make, I don't even know how many small parts we make, but probably something I should find out. But it's a lot. It's a lot. Let's go next step through the fiberglass. Okay, so what you can see here, this has been pulled out of the mold, and they're starting to put some of the hardware on it. The drain tubes are going on. And then you can see in here that this has been foamed one time so far. When the deck and the hull go together, it gets foamed again. So it's one piece at that point. You can't take them apart. But there's a time-consuming process. But you got to have the foam in the boat. It'd be a totally different boat if it didn't have it. Okay, we're coming out of the infusion area, and our two booths here that you can hear the fans that are pulling the dust and the smell and the acetone outside. But right here is where all the holes get cut and drilled for the continuing process. I'll show you. So this is a jig that's put on here, hole cut, drilled, hole cut, and you can see the fiberglass jigs all over this boat. So all the holes and drills get done here. Comes outside. When it's done, comes outside. Deck and hull are put together, and we're off to the races. It keeps going.
So this is here a great representation of all the foam that they use in these boats, which makes a huge, huge difference. George has been saying it sound deadens the boat, and it also makes the boat structurally more sound. So you can tell they have foam across this whole side of the boat, and when you're riding across big waves, it's going to really sound deaden that and make the boat ride much quieter going across the water.
Okay, so Jacob just talked about the hull here. That's a DVX, I think it's a 20S. So that's the hull, and right there is the deck. And tomorrow, that's going to be one part, one piece. We're going to rail it, is the term. But yeah, tomorrow when we get in here, that thing's going to look like a boat. Lots of steps, lots of steps.
So it's basically a two-part process on putting the boat actually together. They'll make the bottom, or the hull as I would call it, and then the top piece, and they will literally put the top piece right on here, connect it, infuse it all together, and then you have a completed boat to be put into final production. Okay,
something just really quick is this is an order for this boat. So the way that this thing is listed or printed is the way it's going to get built. We don't build stock boats. Everything we build is to an order to a retail customer or to a dealer. So no stock boats, all custom built. Let's go to rigging. Okay, this is, we got the deck and hull together. It is a boat at this point. Now it's going through rigging. The wire loom will get put in, all the switch panels and so on. So we'll start here. I think there's 5 stations, and this boat here, for instance, it will ship this weekend. By the time we get it down there, shrink wrap it, go through the final inspection, throw it in the pool again, and it'll take about a week to make this process happen. Here's where you see a lot of the different colors. We've got here a bass boat line. You can see these are all the VXS models, and then a DVX line on this side. There's a lot of similarities, but the fact that those boats are just a little deeper and bigger, it takes a minute more to get them rigged, just getting in and out of the boat. But this is where it all happens. You'll see lots of different colors.
So as you guys can see here, this is
a great color.
glassed boat, and the super nice thing that you guys can see is the color options. They actually have a custom color builder on their website, so if you guys are ever interested in that, you guys can look at that on their website as well.
Okay, it's starting to take shape now. You can see the windshield is installed on this boat. All the steering cables, the 6-gauge wire for the trolling motor and electronics. 6-gauge wire, not 10, not 8. There's no reason to upgrade the electrical system in this boat. It's pretty popular now to do that, but we're using 6-gauge wire with breakers that are very accessible. You don't need to add a new harness to any of these boats. You can see in here now, we've got the the throttle for both the outboard and the kicker put in place. All of it's here, but you'll see the console is going to go right behind that windshield, and under that are all your fuses, the bus bar, anything that you're going to need to add electronics or add Trollmaster or whatever it might be. Very, very easy to add electronics. Everything is labeled. The wire's labeled to what it is, where it's going, and the bus bar, the fuse box, is also labeled. So if you have an issue, you should be able to diagnose it pretty quick. Just another part of what it takes to get one of these things built. We'll show you right here. We're doing a fiberglass back, and we can build it, paint it, or gel coat it to match your boat. It adds quite a bit to the boat by bringing the color of the actual boat into the seat and just not counting on upholstery. Very, very well accepted. And you can paint your fiberglass shell any color you want. So once again, you have choices to make it a custom built boat for yourself. We've got to where it's time to hang the engine. The riggers that we have here have tons of experience, years of experience rigging these boats. That's why it's important. Factory rigging is really, really important. You got people that this is what they do every day, and we will custom rig a boat. The way that we build them is almost custom rigged already, but it's having a factory rigged boat adds a lot of value. There goes the engine. Here's another VXS, the bass boat, and this one's pretty much done except for the engine. Here's the fiberglass seat shell we were visiting about. White to match the main body of this boat is white. The upholstery, also there's lots of variations you can do with the upholstery. Just trying to constantly upgrade the product. You'll see this boat doesn't have carpet in it. It's 100% reflex material. It's an EVA rubber, very easy to clean, gives you a little cushion to stand on it, and we believe that carpeted fishing boats is going away. And so we're trying to lead the charge with that, with having a boat that you can build totally that way. Well, most of the boats, the cockpit area is done with the EVA rubber, but we're building more and more every day. Okay, so this VXS is nearing completion. Looks like we've drilled it for a trolling motor, and the dealer or the customer already has theirs. So yeah, we'll delete it, and you can put your own stuff on it if you want to. We're at the end here, and you can see right here to my left, we have one of our brand new ADX 200s, which is our aluminum walkthrough. That is 20 foot 3 inches, I believe. It's a great addition to what we're doing. It's been very successful in a short period of time. We're really excited about the aluminum product that we're bringing out. And to kind of wind this up, we're at the end. There's another tank, water tank. So once they get all put together, it goes in that tank, and we run everything. We run the live wells. We make sure that everything electronic is working. Actually make sure that the locators just don't turn on, that they're connected. So we do a lot of work here to help at the other end. The boat comes in, it's got the prop on it, the spare, it's all included. There's more standard equipment that are options on other boats than anybody else does, and it's really makes it easier for the purchase.
All right, well, we made it through the tour. That was pretty phenomenal. Just seeing everything that was done, the processes that they have down are absolutely incredible. Like George was saying, the accuracy and precision that they are able to produce these boats is just phenomenal. So I'm super excited to be running one of these boats this year. Just knowing all the stuff from the factory gives me such a good peace of mind at the end of the day when we're out on the water, running customers, and trying to catch some nice fish. Obviously, the top priority is getting from point A to B, and that is the boat itself. So super excited to be running a Vexus boat this year, and I can't wait to show you guys what we have in store coming for 2025. And I just want to especially thank George and everyone here at Vexus. They have been extremely phenomenal to work with. They've been super friendly. They'll show you anything that they need to show you, get you taken care of, and guys can just tell they are a very, very friendly facility here, and they will definitely take care of you.